How's it going, everyone? This is Eric with Easy Peasy Ranch, and today we're going to finish out the mini series in relation to our Generac generator that we got for our property. So this generator is an 18 kilowatt generator, so that is enough to essentially run our AC and run the appliances that we need to run in the house, meaning the fridges, the freezer, and then we could run the washer, dryer if we really need to. Not really suitable for running the microwave per se, but it's enough to allow us to continue on with life. And we've actually already had an outage or two and it's worked perfectly. So on top of having the generator itself, which is now behind the camera, you have the transfer switch, which if you open this panel up, it's literally just one switch in there. So if I wanted to run a test, which I don't want to do because my family is here with me, I could go in there, flip the switch down. It'll take about 10 to 15 seconds for that generator to go, wait a minute, something's wrong, there's no power coming in. And the generator will start up. It'll send the power from the generator itself underneath where the camera is, up through this conduit into this box, and then straight across into our pedestal, which the pedestal powers the house. One other thing I left out originally too is that on top of running the AC and the appliances in the house, it also will power our well pump without a problem. The one time that I really remember it kicking on when I was actually home was I was in the middle of cooking breakfast for everyone. It was actually the weekend that my mother-in-law stayed at our house, and all the power dropped, and within 10 seconds, I literally counted it, the power was restored to the house. I was able to start the oven again, and it just worked totally fine from there. So no other issues, and we're able to fully function in our house. So what exactly powers this thing? So being in a really rural area, we don't have any other utilities other than power coming into our house. So in order for us to get the fuel needed for this thing to run, we have a 250 gallon propane tank off to my left, which feeds the fuel into the generator. So is this something that we would use on a daily basis just to power our house just because? Absolutely not. So the cost per gallon for propane is about $2.50 to $2.99 a gallon. So it's very expensive. In fact, the fill up for that tank alone, when they just filled it up to 80%, was $555. That's including the propane itself and the delivery to the house. So it's pretty dang expensive to run. So if the power were to go out while I'm at work or we're away from the house, we don't have to worry about going, oh crap, we have to come home, lug out the generator, plug it in. Especially during the summertime, it gets pretty dang hot here, just like the rest of Southern California, and we want to make sure that our dogs, while they're inside the house, still stay cool. On top of that, we want to make sure our food isn't going to go bad either. The other pros that we have to this is that Generac, being that it's a pretty big company, they're able to come out and service this thing. They recommend at least once a year. They do an oil change, check the battery, things like that. That's something that I want to learn how to do on my own, just taking care of the generator. I know it's just changing oil, that's an easy thing to do, but again, it could be a little bit different on this for whatever reason. Still something I need to look into. The other big benefit is that this is going to sustain our family, especially since we're in fire country. This is going to allow us to run power in the house all day long, all night long. That tank behind us should run about a week and a half, give or take. So let's talk about the cons. Well, quite honestly, it's expensive to run. Again, that was $555 just to fill up to 80%. Would getting solar and getting battery storage on the house be a lot cheaper? Short term, absolutely not. So I priced out a 13 kilowatt solar array with about 22 or 24 kilowatts worth of battery storage, and it came out to $88,000. So that is something that we just cannot afford. On top of that too, during winter conditions, there is a significant amount of cloud coverage. In fact, this morning we had a huge influx of marine layer come off the coast and into this little valley that we're in right here where our house is. The other con is this is something that we have to service. This is not something that we can just let it run and it's going to turn on every single time, which yeah, initially it's going to, but we need to make sure that we stay up on the maintenance of it. So it's just another engine that we have to worry about. And really, those are the only cons that I could actually think of. So that's kind of a good thing. I mean, it's going to do what we need it to do. Can it run our whole house during the wintertime? Probably. During the summertime, if we're running the air conditioner, probably not. So what was the cost of the whole system? First things first, the generator itself, with all of the trenching and plumbing and things like that that needed to happen, came out to about $14,000. So keep in mind though, we went with a local company that installed it for us called Gallery Electric. They're amazing to work with. I hope to do plenty of work with them in the future. I think that's something that we may use them for when we want to run power from our pedestal right behind the camera over to where my wife's grooming shop is going to be. The next thing is we have a propane tank. That is not necessarily a big cost for the tank itself. We actually lease our tanks out where we live, so we have one on the other side of the house that just feeds propane directly to the house. So the tanks are leased and we pay a fee, I think it's like 80 something bucks per tank once a year. You just have to deal with the initial cost of filling the thing up and then refilling it as you start to run low. So is having a backup generator something that I would recommend to everybody? Yes and no. So if you live in a rural area like where we live and you have power outages that happen constantly, I would say 100%. It gives you the peace of mind, like I was saying, that it's going to turn on its own, it's going to power your house, do whatever you need it to do. But at the same time, it's an incurred cost that you need to think whether or not you want to pay for. Do I recommend going with somebody that's local over a big company? That again, case-by-case basis. If the local companies near you have a good reputation, then absolutely go for it. That's what we did. We were looking at another company to install this thing, but they were about $3,000 more, and that's just something that I didn't want to, risk doing, especially with the additional cost. Do I think that solar may be something that we do in the future? I think so. It's just going to have to be the right application. Where we're at, our co-op out here only allows you to typically do about 5 kilowatts worth of solar panels, but due to the amount of power usage, especially with having the Tesla, we do use a considerable amount more power than the average person out where we live. So hopefully in the future we may be able to work with a company or two, God willing, that would like to work with us with the type of content that I produce, as far as doing solar, battery backup, things like that. Because at the end of the day, if we're able to do solar on the house and do battery backup and it makes sense financially, then this is absolutely a last-ditch effort where I would essentially set it up to where this would only come on if we ran out of battery storage. So I hope this was a decent review for you to watch. If you have any questions in relation to the generator itself, please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any questions about living in a rural area, let me know. Obviously, we're new to this whole thing. We have firsthand experience from going from a normal, average city atmosphere to living out in the middle of nowhere like where we are now. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments in relation to the Generac generator or anything else that we have going on here at Easy Peasy Ranch, please let us know down in the comments. I appreciate the interaction from y'all. It's actually been a lot of fun, and just the support has been pretty cool too. If you have any questions in relation to anything else that we're doing here on the property, please let us know. We do have some other videos coming up. So this is Eric with Easy Peasy Ranch, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.